Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Force, podcast exploring the galaxy far, far away. I am David Cottingham. Here with me, as always, Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. You can check us out at InsideTheForce.com, of course, and follow us on Twitter at InsideTheForce. Exciting times, as usual, here during these Star Wars days.
Yep.
On this week's episode, we don't have too much discussion going on as far as news. Everything's kind of slowing down as far as anything beyond the TV and the movies, especially. Mm-hmm. But there's obviously still new Star Wars Rebels airing, so we'll give you our review of Empire Day, which aired this past week. Talk a little bit about the next episode, because this is kind of a two-parter. And then we'll talk about the rumors out there about this supposed trailer coming within days. Some people are saying any day now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's December.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, so we'll let's dive into let's start off. Usually start off with episode 7, but we'll kind of push that back a little bit. So we're gonna start off with this awesome episode of Star Wars Rebels. All right, Casey, Empire Day.
Liked it a lot. This was I was looking forward to this episode because I heard a lot of talk about some Easter eggs for episode 7, which we'll get into later. But other than that, it was still quite an engaging, entertaining episode. I mean, you got pretty much everybody, and you had the whole crew and this, this one of their missions that they're kind of sabotaging the Empire. But you had Kallus, you had the Inquisitor. You had everybody. You had lightsaber duel, sort of a lightsaber action there, and some Force action. It's just you had everything you wanted, and all in this episode. And it's a part 1. So next week you get the part 2. You can go watch it now, and it's that's what I did just before we shot. We're recording now is just watch it back to back, and it's such an awesome 2-parter episode. You need to watch it together because it's a great story. It's a great little. I mean, it deals a lot with Ezra. Honestly, it's a lot about him. This episode in particular, Empire Day, you find out, or you actually, you get, it sort of asks some questions about his past, about his parents in particular. And, while watching this, I was really getting really excited, thinking, like, cause the whole time I'm thinking, who are his parents? I feel like it should be like this crazy twist on his parents are like these Jedi that we already know about.
Right.
So I was thinking, like, the blue eyes are so striking to me. So I was trying to think, like, what kind of Jedi could maybe his mother or father be? And I was thinking, what if? And I get so excited to think about it, like, what if Ezra's mother is Ahsoka Tano, and she married some human, and then came out Ezra. And I got so excited. I was like, okay, what color eyes does she have? And so I was like looking at pictures as I was watching the episode. And she does have blue eyes, actually. But something happens on the next episode that kind of changes things. So
yeah.
But I still have a theory about. Well, not really. I still think Ahsoka will appear in this show in some fashion, and there's a theory that's been going around that I kind of, sort of, maybe could agree with.
Yeah,
that's more about the next episode than this episode. No, I loved it. I love this episode. Great action, and it was just great. A character story for Ezra.
Yeah, definitely. So let's kind of start from the beginning here.
Okay.
Empire Day. Now, this is a term that I actually forgot about. And maybe some people that don't do a lot of Expanded Universe, obviously, they might not even know this term. And it was funny because last week, this came out early, like everyone every week does with Disney XD's web app and online.
Right.
So middle of last week, I was getting ready to watch this, and I remember I called you and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna take these episode novels off my shelf because now I got Tarkin and the New Dawn, and I'm gonna put just the canon novels up there, right?"
Right.
So then, but I did. So I looked at episode 3's novel, and I remember when I read that, and I read that after, because I bought it I think before the movie, but I watched the movie first, and then I ended up reading it, and it was really good. It's really good because you just like any novel or book, you get more into the character's mindset, minds, and
right.
You get more dialogue sometimes. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is really good because it got more into Anakin, like his struggle, Yeah.
And
unfortunately, it's been released from Story Group that it's only canon where it lines up with the movie. So all this extra stuff technically isn't canon. But I was paging through it again, and I happened to just start reading right around the time when Palpatine was declaring himself emperor, right?
Right.
And in that paragraph, he says, "From now on, this day will be remembered as Empire Day." It was so weird because I read that and I'm like, "Wait a minute! Wow, I'm about to watch this episode called Empire Day," and it was great because there's more too with Padme talking to Bail about you have to vote for him and all this stuff. Anyway. So Empire Day. So people that may or may not know, Empire Day is the day the Republic basically became the Empire. And this is the 15th anniversary, which is, I thought it was a little strange though, because I thought this was 14 years, right? So,
yeah.
Because that would be a year off, right?
I see. I've been honestly a little debating about the whole date and years things because that gets into Ezra, honestly. But because Ezra's kind of given his own little timeline. Well, did you catch that in this episode where he was saying?
Well, he was born on Empire Day.
Yeah, he was. But see, he's 15 years old.
Okay, so it's 15 years.
So I don't know if he was born on Empire Day or a year before Empire Day. Because I thought the show took place 14 years after.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. 3. But they're saying this is the 15th anniversary. So
they did say it was the 15th because I was trying to catch it. Yeah, it was.
No, so he was born on Empire Day.
Yeah.
And this is the 15th anniversary. So, yeah, it's 15 years after, episode 3.
Right.
So, which is, we were always told, I thought it was 14 years, like you said.
Maybe now it's reached its 15th year.
I guess. Maybe, maybe it's it was 14 and a half whenever we started the show.
Yeah.
And now it's been 5 months or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is 15 years after. So, they're on Lothal, and there's the Empire is celebrating this like it's like July 4th. It's like everybody's having parades, and you may not necessarily like it, but you're going to be out there cheering, in the parade. So but this particular celebration, the Empire, that is, they wanted to reveal their next advanced TIE fighter, with the TIE Advance, basically, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect that. So, and then obviously our rebels, wasn't the cause of the scene. So, but what the episode is mainly about is the Empire is actually searching for a particular Rodian. And the Rodians, if you don't know, obviously is the Greedo species. I forgot to look up his name. What was his name? The guy they're looking for?
Sibo.
Sibo. Yes, you're right.
Sibo.
So this episode was completely absolutely about Ezra and his past. You find out that his parents may still be alive, or are alive, basically, I guess. It was really cool. I thought was really, really good about this episode was they kept they did a good job of leaving you wanting more, because
absolutely.
Just when they were like saying, like Sabine was like, he says your parents are alive, and it's like,
right.
Well, where are my parents? And all of a sudden there's a battle going on, so you got to leave. And then Hera's like, it's something I got to tell you, but I might be thinking of the next episode actually. On that part.
Oh, yeah. It does blend in so well. It
does. But anyway, they're kind of needing to hide out a little bit, so Ezra takes them to the place where he grew up, and there, because Ezra recognizes the Rodian that they're looking for, Sibo.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think when you first saw Sibo? Because he's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought he might be like a crazy kind of whacked out kind of hermit guy. I don't know, but even though after watching it and the next episode, I couldn't quite figure out what kind of like who he is exactly. I don't know if he was like their butler or their bodyguard or something like that, or just a close friend. But it seems interesting. Seems like just like a really smart Rodian, just a really smart guy that I guess that the Empire wanted to use for something. Like he said like he went to work for Empire's, like the Imperial. I can't remember what branch for the Imperial for the Empire, but he seemed to be smart enough that the Empire wanted him. So he seems like an interesting character, and I feel like I don't know. He seems like he might come into play later too in the show. It seems like he's pretty important.
Yeah, I think they said that they did those. They put those things on him.
Yeah, it's like a Lobot type thing almost.
Correct.
It's like it's this big, huge implant.
Yes, and I think it's there
on his head.
Then they mentioned it's supposed to be there to make him, like you said, like almost like obedient to do.
Yeah, using his brain for the Empire in a way, like a cyborg type machine or whatever.
Right.
And then I guess Sibo is smarter than that, so he actually used that implant against the Empire. Mm-hmm. Like he used it to like get all their secrets, and I guess he just ran away or escaped somehow, and that's why they're after him.
And
so and
it makes you think, at least to me, that whether or not is Ezra's parents involved in kind of the rebellion as well.
I mean, it must be. I mean, there's so much. I mean, now it's going to be even more of a big old mystery box. Are his parents actually alive? Like, are they Jedi? Like, are they
right?
It doesn't seem like the Empire takes prisoners. Really, I mean, they had Master Undula, but they killed her. And kept her bones. So it doesn't seem like, why would his parents be alive? So it's a good little question that is keeping us. Like as soon as I ended it, like I was so mad. Like, gosh, they're gonna hold us out, make us wait to figure out if his parents are alive or not.
And
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's clear that they've been gone for like 7 years, right? Or 8 years.
I think 8 years. He was 7. I think he was 7 when they left.
Yeah,
and it's been 8 years since, is what he said.
So they could either, they could be like they could have been had to go in hiding or something like that too, and
maybe, yeah,
or maybe they're stranded somewhere, who knows?
Yeah,
but somebody knows. Obviously, Sibo knows, so that's obviously going to be a big plot device for next part of the first season,
right?
But overall, you like you said, you got the Inquisitor in there, and you find out more. There's even more of him in the next one that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was just, and even when you first see the Inquisitor, instantly, kind of my heart kind of sank, because he just has such a domineering presence just by the way he looks.
Yeah,
and it was so great, and they try to kill him right there. I mean, you have Zeb trying to shoot Callus. And Kanan's like, if you're going to take out anybody, take out that guy.
Yeah.
And he misses him, of course, but he shoots him a few times. Could have killed him.
Right.
But went right over his head. And, I mean, that whole Empire Day part was really cool, because in the beginning of that little parade, you had the Imperial March. Did you catch that?
Yes, absolutely.
It was like a different kind of, more upbeat version of the Imperial March, but it was there. And it was just awesome to hear that.
Yeah, in the Rebels Recon, Filoni talked about that. He wanted,
oh, really?
Yeah, he told the composer, he's like, he wanted the Imperial March, but he wanted a celebratory Imperial March.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what it was.
Yeah. March, something they'd be happy for. Yeah.
Right, that people would be happy to hum and happy to sing to. And
yeah. I loved Kanan when he was trying to pretend he was almost a drunk kind of guy, he was saying, "Oh yeah, Empire Day, yeah."
Right.
I just love the fireworks, all that stuff. It was really funny.
Yeah, that's
pretty
good. That's very, very good. So as obviously they grab Sibo and they end up getting into the ship. Now, how does wait a minute? You have to remind me how this one ends, because like you said, it blends in. They do get on the Ghost, right? They're on the Ghost.
They're on the Ghost, and it's literally it's a cliffhanger type thing. It's like you said, Sabine.
Oh
but Sibo knows what happens, and she has to go man one of the guns.
That's
and
right.
It's just a shot on Ezra confused.
Yeah, so it ends with the TIE fighters, right, going after the Ghost. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And led by the Inquisitor. He's manning this TIE Advanced.
Yeah.
And all these TIEs that are going after. Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to mention. If I had a chance to say something or ask something to the story group, or even Lucasfilm in general, maybe, you do notice on the dash of the TIE fighters, it's the exact same as the original trilogy, right?
Yes. Yeah. I know.
See, does that upset you at all? Do you think so that means they're never going to change it? They're never going to improve it, right?
I guess. I mean, yeah.
Or I guess they could improve, saying that they changed it by the time.
Honestly, maybe they didn't have a reason to improve it, but one thing I could say is the Emperor maybe doesn't feel like there's no reason for them to keep making bigger and better ships, because there's no one to oppose them until now. But then again, if you look back in Episode 3, we saw early versions of a TIE fighter. Mm-hmm. Had that kind of pointed kind of nose.
Yeah.
But now we have the real versions of the TIE fighter. So we're only about 5 years away from the original trilogy. So maybe there wasn't a whole lot of change since then. It doesn't really bother me too much, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I just ever since the prequels came out and the special editions were getting tinkered with, it's just I always thought man, don't you want to improve the screen? Because you would think it would be more advanced versus what happened in the episode. Now, but they did change I think the displays either maybe in the TIE fighters or the X-Wings. Remember they originally there was letters, there was English.
Yes,
and then they changed it to the
that language, the Arabesh,
right?
How the heck you say it? Yeah.
So they did make efforts to change it, but they obviously didn't change the schematic part of it,
right?
The graphical part of it, which is another thing. Too is we keep talking about when the whole meeting when they have the Death Star plans and they're going over. It looks like an Atari game.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to close my game of Pong. Let me bring up the real plans.
Yeah. So anyway, but I thought that was interesting because like it was exactly the same, and it looks like nothing has changed in the next 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Which I guess is I guess it's okay because if they stick to the somewhat of the stuff that happens in the expanded universe, it's in there that Palpatine actually forbids, right, the HoloNet.
Yeah. Right.
Like he basically bans it so no one can use it, and that's why there's not much more communications. So people can't really talk and rebel. But anyway,
it's cool. Like there's one part too, like where they're actually I just now remember this too, and I wanted to ask you this: the part where they're in the cantina on Lothal, and those Imperial pilots are like, turn on the HoloNet, whatever. It's by law, and then you see that talking about Empire Day, and they should actually show a little frame from Emperor Palpatine in the Senate chamber.
Yes,
like talking like about that. And I thought first of all that was really cool, and they actually mentioned Emperor Palpatine by name. But then it got cut in. Remember that broadcast?
Yep.
It interrupted the thing. Who was that guy? Did you catch his name?
I have not caught his name. It
was very staticky.
He does say it though, right?
Yeah. Yes, he says it. It was very staticky. Now I'm probably wrong, but I thought he might have said Garm Bliss.
Oh, really?
But I don't think it was. It sounded kind of like it. I was like, I didn't want to go back and watch it because I was so into the episode, but I meant to go back before the show, but I forgot. But I may need to try to look that up. But they didn't revisit that in this episode. But it was and it kind of looked like Bella Bliss a little bit too, from what we've seen him a little bit in the games and some books. But I'll have to look that up real quick. But I just wanted to get your input if you recall.
I don't. That part. But I feel like that's something we've got to look up.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find that really quick.
All right, so we had a quick moment there. We had to pause for a second because we had to really look it up. So you looked up the name, actually, who it is.
Gall Travis.
Gall Travis, right. I just watched it real fast. He says, this is Senator in exile. So he's hiding somewhere, somehow interrupting the transmission of the HoloNet. Now, this is the second time we've seen this. This happened while they were because he's the one that actually reported that they had in custody Jedi Luminari.
Yeah,
and that's how they were kind of trapped into going into the Citadel and save her. So, so the second time this comes on, and that was good you pointed that out because it's interesting how they brought up the Palpatine thing on there and all that. So I still think we're going to see Palpatine at some point.
They've already animated him.
I know,
to a degree. Yeah, so old Sheev
Palpatine.
Old.
So out right now, if you want to see it, of course, like we talked about, it is the next episode of this 2-part series, basically this 2-part episode. And forgive me, I forgot already. What's next week's called?
Oh my gosh!
I know we were just talking about it.
We just mentioned it.
The Gathering
back up here.
Storm?
Gathering Forces, I think.
That is out right now, though. You can watch it, obviously, right now on the Disney XD app.
Gathering Forces.
You can see that in the Disney XD app or the Watch Disney XD, DisneyXD.com. So that's out right now. It's been out, And this is the fall, basically what they're calling now these fall finales.
Yeah.
This will be the last episode of this year. 5 weeks, I think you said, right?
5 weeks.
5 weeks and it comes back. Now there's still, which is strange, there's still big confusion out there on how many episodes actually that we've gotten. Because
is it like 16 or?
Well, that's the thing, is that there's some people are still claiming that Spark of Rebellion was 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And the shorts were considered an episode altogether.
Yeah.
So that way, so technically this is not actually the how many episodes have we had? This is number 6, right? Technically, if it's
yeah.
So technically, they're saying 6, 7, 8, 9. Like we've got 9, even though. But it's weird because if you look at StarWars.com though, and you go to their TV show thing when they have Star Wars Rebels, it's clearly listed on here. Empire Day is season 1, episode 6.
Oh, then there you go.
I know, that's what I've been going by. But everybody kind of online is still, and some other podcasts are still saying, well, this is episode 9 basically. But but it got ordered for 22 more 22 episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm guessing we still have 16 to go. I mean, because the Star Wars Clone Wars film, that's not considered an episode.
No.
So Spark of Rebellion is not, I don't think is considered an episode. It was the movie, setting up the series. So
right.
So I think we can expect 16 more half-hour episodes starting 5 weeks after next week. So okay, so you wanted to talk about some Easter eggs that were possibly listed in this thing, right?
Yes, and I mean it seems like it's a pretty legit Easter egg in Empire Day, and I heard about this last week, but I just didn't really want to look into it until I actually saw the episode of Empire Day. But here's essentially what it is. There's a moment in Empire Day when Sabine has hacked into Sibo's implant and has pulled up all these like schematics and blueprints of Imperial weapons like the AT-AT and the chicken walkers and all that kind of stuff. And there's like one frame where somebody screen captured it, and it has a date or like a series of numbers which looks like a date. It's 11/27/13, and then it's got a lot of Aurebesh next to that and below it. And I translated the Aurebesh, and so here's essentially what it says in Aurebesh. It says, "See file," like see the file 11/27/13, and below it says, "For the most recent strategy and tactics from Imperial Outer Rim High Command." Now that's fine. There's nothing really strange about that, but the date, the numbers that it has, 11/27/13. Somebody has found, and I made sure this is right. Someone found that this correlates to a release date, a premiere date for a Star Wars comic, and that Star Wars comic is, let me bring it back up. It's Star Wars Legacy Volume 2. If I can bring it back up here on Safari, Star Wars Legacy Volume 2, and this comic is set many years after the original trilogy. All that kind of stuff. But basically, it's about this Solo descendant. Anya Solo, who's a descendant of Han and Leia. She is in this junkyard, and she finds this robot-based communications droid she kind of befriends or whatever. But then, suddenly, she comes across this lightsaber. And the whole plot of this comic is that she's trying to figure out where this lightsaber belongs to, and the Empire, or like some, I guess, Imperial forces are trying to come and fight her and take the lightsaber back, and whatever, get the lightsaber from her or something like that, and she's trying to return it to its rightful owner, kind of thing. So it's that's the plot line, and the reason it's interesting is because it correlates really closely to the rumors we've been hearing about Daisy Ridley's character in Star Wars Episode 7.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been trying to look into this a little more, and I've been hearing some people saying, why would Disney allow Dark Horse Comics to publish this comic book that has story elements so close to episode 7, if these rumors are true? And then on the other hand, why would Dave Filoni put this Easter egg in Rebels that kind of spoils part of Star Wars Episode 7? Again, if that rumor is true. Now, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to decide whether or not I believe this Easter egg. I mean, it is clearly written as a date, and it's a big coincidence that it falls on this premiere date of this comic, which corresponds to these rumors. That is a huge, huge coincidence.
Right.
But I just don't know. I mean, I can't figure out why they would. I mean, let's just as a little wink to the fans, be like, hey, you are on the right track kind of thing. And here's something to help you guys. But because it doesn't really spoil anything, it just kind of confirms some rumors that aren't really that crazy. It's like maybe it's the inciting incident of the movie, it sounds like. So it's not really anything spoilerish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that's the big old Easter egg in Empire Day, is basically this thing that relates to Star Wars Episode 7, presumably. But I don't know. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think I don't know. It sounds pretty too coincidental. I don't. Yeah, it definitely seems implanted there. I mean, whenever there's. I know George. It was always rumored and told by him that he was so detailed in what was shown, and what was on the screens and stuff like that. So I'm assuming Filoni is going to go by that same principle because he's basically a Lucas clone. Yeah. So I definitely think. I mean, if you're going to put Erebush on screen, you have to make it. People like you, especially. People know how to translate it. So you have to put something on there that is readable and that is real. Yeah. So, why not bank on not many people, looking up and throwing some Easter egg in there like that? So right. I definitely think it was intentional. But obviously they're not really advertising it too much. So... Yeah. But overall, it was really, really cool. Now, I kind of looked it up myself, this whole, Anya or Anya Solo. I mean, do you think it's possible that that's what Daisy is? That she's necessarily not their daughter? That she's...
Oh, just a relative?
Just a relative.
I mean, that's a possibility. I'd say it's just her... I still think it's their daughter.
Or it could be their daughter, and is she named Anya?
Oh, that's a good possibility too.
Right.
I mean, it seems like they're definitely hinting that there are elements from this character that will be in Daisy Ridley. So, in a way, it's it's just going back to those haters who say that Disney's killing Star Wars because they got rid of the EU. Well, here's evidence that they're including parts of the EU in Star Wars.
Yes.
But I mean, but again, is this? Who came up with this plot idea for Star Wars Episode 7? Did J.J. Abrams come up with this, or Michael Arndt? And did they look at the comic books for inspiration?
Well, I think I think they've said since the Legends thing got announced that they could, they could take elements from the Legends stuff, expanding universe stuff. So I definitely think that it's influencing a lot for sure.
Yeah.
So. Here's the thing too: is what could be a possibility is, that Daisy Ridley is playing, Anya Solo, and that there are younger Jaina and Jasons. We just don't know about them.
You're saying there are actually maybe there might adolescent.
There might be Solo twins, except they're younger. They're 10.
Huh.
We don't know the full cast, and what was shot.
In a way, too, that kind of goes with what we know from the original Star Wars, kind of plot line.
Yes.
What we read in that comic, that there was those two kids.
That's right.
It was Princess Leia's siblings, so maybe they're pulling back from that, and they're going to make up Jason and Jaina. So that would be a cool twist. That'd be that'd be pretty interesting to shake it up.
Because you remember the other part of some speculation was that these new characters are the ones that are going to drive episodes 8 and 9. So you possibly could jump 3 or 4 years, and then the twins would be in their teens.
Yeah.
So then they could be a part of the story. Who knows? I don't know. It's just
that's true.
That's
very true.
Complete rumor. But I'm kind of, because of this though, I am kind of leaning towards that her name could be Anya.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Anya Solo.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to my buddy Cody about this. Even the look of Anya in the comic book, looks like Daisy Ridley.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at I'm looking at the cover right now.
Yeah,
it looks exactly like her.
So I mean, it's and you go, how detailed they are. Do everything with a purpose. And J.J. Abrams himself is a master of Easter eggs and viral marketing kind of thing. But it's crazy.
Absolutely, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and kind of tangent here as well. Like, I was looking at Easter eggs in Star Wars in general, and apparently George Lucas in Episode 1 seems like he and the scene where Jar Jar tries to eat that one little critter thing, and that dude says it costs 7 whoopee or whatever. And he spits it out into Sebulba's drink,
Yeah.
And Sebulba confronts him. Well, there's apparently in the background when Anakin comes and talks to Sebulba, in the back, the people are sitting down on the tables. One of those characters in the back is Jedi Quinlan Voss.
Really?
And you can see there's a freeze frame, and you look at it. He's right there in the center of the frame. He's sitting down, and Quinlan Voss has this very distinguishable yellow streak across his eyes.
Yeah.
And this guy has the same streak. And I think I read that there's actually a quote from one of the producers or somebody saying, like, that is Quinlan Voss. So I don't know if that was legit or not, but
which is an expanded universe character, right?
It is. And he's, included him in Episode 3.
And the Clone Wars.
Technically, and the Clone Wars. So he is canon.
Oh, yeah, he is. Absolutely.
So was he canon that far ahead? That would be crazy. But,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Easter eggs out there. It's just, those are always fun to find.
So, all in all, you got to go see this episode. Tons of information in this. Just some great moments, which obviously, like we said, will drive the next half of the season for sure. With everything about Ezra, and I mean, there's part of that whole thing with Sabine too. She's her parents are kind of in question, So, I mean, she said they died too. I think, didn't she? Or
I think so. But she's from Mandalore, so who knows?
No.
Could she be a love child between Obi-Wan and Satine?
Wow.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
No. Obi-Wan wouldn't dare.
He would never.
Okay, so before we kind of break off of this episode, I wanted to throw in one thing there. The Episode 7 stuff that we didn't really talk about, but obviously the big speculation and talk right now out there is this supposed trailer that we're getting very soon.
Right.
Now, we've said this all year that we anticipated a trailer a year before.
Yeah.
That's kind of Abrams' MO. With Cloverfield, it was exactly a year. With Super 8, we got a year. Star Trek, we got a year, and these were all little teasers. Like Super 8 was the train crash. We got the trailer of the train crash, and then something busting out of it. And then you got the Star Trek, and it was the crew, them building the Enterprise. So there are rumors out there of what we're going to see, which is several shots of characters. No scenes or dialogue really. just shots, and then there is one piece of dialogue apparently from Disney really telling somebody to wake up. And then, of course, you got, and then I think it's supposed to end with like the Millennium Falcon like zooming towards you.
Yeah, I know what she's talking. Who to wake up? She's talking to the Force.
She's talking to the Force
to wake up,
awaken Force.
Sleep. Yeah,
yes,
that's exactly what
I agree. So, so just real quick, your thoughts on not thoughts, but I wanted to kind of do a real quick segment where. What if you got approached by but Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm and said, Casey, 60 seconds, make a teaser. What would you put in it?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
You gotta think about it.
I kind of had my idea.
You're doing it for the fans.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea that they've had, like shots of all the main characters. That right there is, to me, that's perfect. Because you get a glimpse of what they look like, that kind of thing, and you get a little bit of dialogue, which is fine. But what I kind of imagine when we first talked about this, like a long time ago, really, like talking about before we even really got much information about Episode 7, I kind of thought like be a cool teaser is if we got like aerial shot, almost like going through perhaps, Coruscant or like some other famous planet, whatever whether it be, I don't know, and it's just like one long shot going through this city or whatever, this planet, and you get maybe some character talking, whether it's Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Daisy Ridley, whoever it is, and it's just think of it like the Dark Knight trailer, where Michael Caine is talking about, some men just want to watch the world burn, that kind of thing. Some characters talking while we see this aerial shot. But as we're getting this shot, it's like going closer and closer to maybe this building, and then we've come to find out maybe it's the Jedi Temple that it's zooming in on or something like that, and then it gets closer and closer to this building, and then it like blows up. Right there. And then, like, suddenly we get the graphic and all this kind of stuff. And then, I don't know, kind of wow you in the end kind of thing. So, a really short trailer, like 60 seconds of just that aerial shot, some good explosion at the end of some building, like a Jedi temple, covered over some character giving, like, a little monologue,
Mm-hmm.
So, that was kind of, I don't know, long explanation for a short teaser trailer, but I thought that might have been cool. But, getting this here, what we got this past week, I thought that was a perfect teaser. That if this is true,
right? Okay, so this is what I would like to see, or this is what I would cut together. Now,
right?
This is obviously assuming I know what JJ shot. But,
yeah.
But do you remember? Right. Do you remember that first iconic shot that we got from Man of Steel, where the doors opened and Superman is walking out with that, the cape waving, and so
right.
I kind of got that in my head, and what I mean by that is, I don't know if there, if there's a shot of like this hooded figure just walking, up a mountain or something like that, and it gets to the point, and we kind of pan around. He throws his hood back, and it's an older Luke Skywalker, and then he just ignites his lightsaber. I mean, that would be like, oh my god, that would be the ultimate.
That would be really cool. Yeah,
vision.
You actually see his face and his beard and all that. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I mean, that's what for some reason, as soon as Episode 7 was announced, that's like the first image I thought of was, man, an older Luke Skywalker, kind of the Obi-Wan type this time, So, anyway, who knows what we're going to see? But we should find out here within the month, I think.
Yep.
There's been rumors that it was going to be attached to Hobbit, but that kind of got shot down.
Right.
And that Disney is planning something bigger.
Looks like it.
So we will see. All right, so let's move on to some trivia. Okay. As we wrap this episode up, I got question 1924.
A good year.
1924, yeah. This will put us into, I think, Empire. Yeah. This will put us in the Empire Strikes Back era. And here is the question. Where was the Echo Base evacuation fleet located? Where was the Echo Base evacuation fleet located? A, the Western Ridge. B, the North Ridge. C, the Eastern Ridge. Or D, the South Ridge. So east, west, north, or south.
Echo Base. Oh my god!
Evacuation
fleet.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know this one.
Yeah. Yeah. The evacuation fleet.
I think it's said, but
yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know what was said.
Over the. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I think it was said. I'm starting to think that. I think Leia said it during that whole pilot meeting.
Yeah. Probably. Or like intercom or something like that over intercom kind of thing.
All right, I'm going to throw out my answer. I think I'm going to go ahead and say B, the North Ridge.
You're saying B, North?
Yeah, I'm saying B, North.
I'll do the opposite. I'll say D, South.
South. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is B. This is B, the North Ridge. Incorrect, and it is D, the South Ridge.
Oh, well, total guess there. Jeez Louise.
Wow. Yeah.
I need to go back and listen to that.
All right, so that is it for this episode of Inside the Force. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, go check out, if you can, the last couple episodes of Star Wars Rebels as they go on hiatus here for about 5 weeks. And then go check us out at InsideTheForce.com and stay up to speed with us as we count down the days to the Episode 7 teaser trailer.
Yep.
All right, so for Casey Cooley,
train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose, which is a Yoda quote, actually.
That is.
I didn't want to do my Yoda voice this time around. I want to give it a rest, but I think it's a good quote to summarize this two-part episodes of Rebels.
Yeah, definitely.
For Ezra, yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay, everybody, this is Inside the Force. He is Casey Cooley at Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter. We will check you guys out next week. For Casey Cooley,
goodbye, everybody.
I'm David Cottingham, and as always, may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.